All right, are we live? Are we going live? We are live. We're live, amigos. Mis amigos. All right. Oh my God, it's been so long since I've done a podcast. Well, I'm bored as shit, got nothing to do during this quarantine time, so I might as well just sit in my house and make a small podcast. Hey, it's a podcast time. All right. I kind of did a mock one earlier because I didn't know. It's been so long since I've done a podcast. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, my God. How do I do a podcast? And a couple of hours later of me fiddly-diddling around on OBS and softwares and YouTube videos and all that good stuff, I finally got it. I finally figured it out. So if you guys are watching this, you guys can watch it, comment and do all that good stuff. But otherwise, I'm just going to get into it. I was thinking for a solid minute, like, shit, what do I talk about? It's been, I think, a year since I made my last podcast, and I kind of was doing a little bit more high budget but low budget. Like I had guests and scenes, and I was really getting into OBS, and then it just kind of faded away just because the quarantine ended. Jobs picked up. For those of you that don't know, I do music full time, so I've been doing gigs up the wazoo. All the gigs that were canceled during COVID and all that stuff, like weddings and private stuff, have now been like reboot and re-kicked. So I've been just working nonstop, and I'm making a new album, my first album. So that's like another thing I've been working on with 30 songs. So it's a lot. So yeah, podcasts and stuff like that kind of got set to the side. And then I realized, like, just out of nowhere that everything's like those videos are blowing up. Not my podcasts, but some people ask me when I'm going to do more podcast stuff. So I figured I'd do more stuff. Reaction videos are just going absolutely hunk of bonkers. I don't know. I don't get it. But no, I want to talk to you guys. Just I want to do story time. I'm gonna start calling these podcasts story time. I don't know if they're gonna be on a Tuesday or something like that. Story time Tuesday just kind of rolls off the tongue though. But I already do my live streams, which I'm gonna start doing on YouTube too. So that's gonna be coming out soon. I talk with my hands. I need to stop doing that. I'm looking at myself. I'm like, I keep talking with my hands, but yeah, so I already do one live stream on Wednesdays, and I'm going to be doing that on YouTube. So stay tuned for that. That's good stuff happening. But I think for now, to kind of kick things off with the Storytime podcast is to give you guys a story, and you guys can comment if you relate or have any feedback like that. But we're going to get into it. Today's topic is unique people in unique situations. I don't know about you, but I get myself into the most weirdest situations. I have the weirdest luck. I don't know why. I just do. And it's not the good luck. It's not the good luck where I'm going to be like the next Ed Sheeran or something like that. It's like, no, I had the luck where when I hold the door for the person, I end up becoming friends with that person, and then I have to help them out in a situation in that day, and that ruins, like, it ruins everything. It just goes downhill. This is what I'm talking about. So when me and my fiance first started dating, back in the college days, which really wasn't that long ago, she introduced me to a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of YouTube people, like vloggers and stuff like that. She used to watch, like, what was it? Simply Dumpling. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Best Ever Food Review Show was another one that she got me into. Oh, there's just countless ones that she's shown me, and she always used to put them on. We come back from class and hang out, do homework, have a couple drinks, and then we would she put on YouTube. And one of the things that she got hooked on, and she got me hooked on, was these things called soup dumplings. For those of you that don't know what a soup dumpling is, it's like a Japanese or Korean dish, either or. Don't hold me to that. I don't know what it is really, but it's delicious, man. And what it is it's a dumpling, like a normal dumpling, like meat and dough. I'm Polish, so it's like a pierogi. Um, but over there is a dumpling. And what they do is they put soup in it. For the longest time, that kind of blew my mind how they use soup and I could put soup in it. I don't know. That was just kind of it was very unique. But in New England or where we're from, it's really hard to find. Like, no one has that. No one has that. So there was a point where we tried making them, which we did, and now I actually make them pretty frequently. I made them like last week, and they came out bomb. But this is before, so when we were starting to get into that like thing, we tried making them, and it was horrible. We destroyed it. The dough was too thick, the dough was too thin. The soup would always just pour out. It was not fun. So we were determined. We're like, we have to find a place that sells these. So we found a place that sold them, and it was in Boston. And Boston was like, from where we were in college, was probably like a 3-4 hour drive. It was a good drive. Not bad though. And but that was still far for college kids. So we were like, we're just gonna make a whole day out of it. We're gonna make a whole day. Like, we went down the weekend. We made it like a weekend trip pretty much. And we were gonna go to the aquarium. We were gonna do, this, that. Go walk Faneuil Hall and do all this stuff. But I've been in the city a bunch of times. Like, growing up, my mom took me into Boston all the time. All the time. Faneuil Hall, man. I used to street perform. I used to skip school, play hooky. I used to go street perform in Boston. Holy moly, I love Boston. It's wicked awesome. That's all I'm gonna say. It's wicked awesome. And yeah. So I'm pretty aware of Boston. I can navigate my way pretty well around Boston. I like to say. I like to think. But then I'm in like my car with my sister and my mom, and they're like way better at navigating in those parts than I am. Anywho, she's never been to the city. She's never experienced it. So, it was going to be, she was so excited, guys. She was like, oh, I can't wait. I've always wanted to go in the city. Never done it before. So I'm like, great, let's go. So we go on the weekend, and it was kind of like this time of the year. And in this time of the year in New England, it's kind of rainy. And so we get there, and it's pretty rainy, and it's cloudy, and the first thing she kept noticing, she was like, "Why does it smell weird? Like, it smells like, why does it smell like piss?" No, I just tell her, I'm like, that's every city has a smell. No matter where you go, if you go to New York, same thing. If you go to Boston, same thing. Those are the only two cities I've ever been to, but they both smell the same, and they have like the smell of like diesel in the air, But it makes you work harder. You just drink more of that Dunkin' Donuts, and you're solid, my friend. You're solid. I hope I'm coming in clear. I hope you guys can hear me. I don't know if anyone's watching, but I hope you guys can hear me all right. Storytime podcast is going to be a new thing. Anyway, continuing on with the story. So yeah, we're walking in downtown Boston, and she's just like super shocked at the smells, the aroma, everything, and I'm loving it. I don't care. Like, it's like, I'm like, oh, let's go to Dunk's. Oh, we got to go down to this store. Oh, let's go down to Boylston Street. I remember this. Oh, we got to go down Faneuil Fenway. But she really wanted to try the soup dumpling. So I'm like, all right, let's go. I'll take you to this soup dumpling place, this restaurant. And we both found it on Google Maps. And she was looking around on Google Maps, and she's like, wow, there's a lot of Chinese restaurants around here. I'm like, yeah, there are. And in my mind, I'm like, that's because there's a Chinatown. For those of you that don't know, in Boston, there's a Chinatown, and it's awesome. It is awesome. I love Chinatown. I've been going there ever since I was a kid. I love it. I love the food, love the culture, love everything. That's why I'm so into that food. I love it. And the people there, they're super friendly. But it's Boston. You got to remember that. It's Boston. When you go into a city, there's going to be pros and cons. There's going to be ups and downs. You're going to meet random people, and sometimes those random people are going to be horrible. I wouldn't say horrible. You're gonna say that, but you just don't let it bother you. Just keep going. So we go down to this restaurant, and she's flabbergasted at how many like Chinese restaurants there are, and then she kind of like looks up from her phone, and then she's like looking around, and now we're literally just a block away from this restaurant. And she looks up and she has the look. She has a look. And for those of you that don't know the look, what I'm saying is when you first go to a place and you're the only white person, you have that look. And it's like a I don't know what to call it, like a third world shock, but it's not. And it doesn't bother me. Like, that stuff does not bother me at all. I'm very open. So but bringing my friends or my fiance, my fiance, when she was a girlfriend at the time, it's hilarious to see that look of like, where are we? Did we take a plane? Where? No, we're in Boston. Where? What's happening? It's like, nope. It's called Chinatown, my love. Welcome to Chinatown. And I love it, because it's cool and it's a culture. I love that. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like true Americans, like my family. I don't know. We have pierogies. I'm grateful that we have the Polish tradition in my family, but I've grown up realizing that in New England that, I love it so much, but you have that, we have the same palate with food, chowder, clam chowder, bar food. What is another one? Lobster rolls, typical things like that. Apple pie, things, I don't know. And it comes to the point, and I'm 26, so it comes to the point where I'm like, I want to try something different. My palate is like craving something different. So I always like to try different things, like soup dumplings, So that's why, I don't know. That's why I'm very open to that stuff. But anyway, so she's having this third world shock right now, and it's absolutely hilarious, and it's all good vibes. Once she realizes that, I explained it to her. I'm like, we're in Chinatown, and she's like, oh, that's cool. She was like, I didn't know that was a thing. We get to the Chinese restaurant. We get to this restaurant that sells the soup dumpling. Okay, this is where the story is about to pop off. We finally arrive to the soup dumpling place, and when we get there, the woman seats us near the entrance. It's right near the entrance, but this place is packed, like packed. They were trying to create more tables because that's how packed they were. That's how I knew this place was gonna be good. Because it was like a midday. No, it was a weekend. It was weekend. So that's probably actually why. Because I remember it was a Saturday. Like midday, probably 2 o'clock. And it was booming. Booming, dude. So we sit down. She asks us what we want. We want the soup dumplings. We get the soup dumplings. And Christina, my fiance, is literally like, she has like the look like, oh my God, I've looked. It's like Indiana Jones when he finds like the crystal skull. Or, it's like, holy shit. This is it. So she has it. She puts it on the spoon with her chopsticks. She's about to go and take the bite of the soup dumpling to pour this soup out. For those of you who don't know, again, soup dumpling is just a dumpling with soup inside of it. Soup dumpling is pretty obvious. If you just bite into it, you're going to burn your mouth. Well, remember how I said we were right near the entrance? This woman who is obviously homeless comes running in, and she looks at me. I have no idea why she looked at me. She just looked dead at me. What is this? Not error. YouTube received not maintenance. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going. Its story's almost over. So she looks at me. She looks at Christina, grabs a soup dumpling, and just bolts out the door. Like sprints full on. I'm shocked. I'm like, I have that shock, and I start laughing because I'm like, there's no way that just happened. There's just no way that someone just stole a soup dumpling from someone. And Christina, she's looking at me like, are you going to go chase him? But in my mind, I'm like, we kind of already won because that woman just stole a soup dumpling. She's going to be running down the street, taking a bite, like popping in her mouth. I was picturing her like just either tossing it back or just taking a bite, and it just completely scorches her completely. So I'm just like, I have no idea what you want me to do. And the worst part is like everyone was looking around like, what are you going to do? So I just like, all right, now that the pressure's on, I just ran outside. I ran down the street. I looked around too. She wasn't even she was gone, dude. She did like some Houdini shit. She probably did a little puff magic dragon and it's gone. Boom. Me, I just went around the corner. I just smoked a cigarette. Smoked a cigarette and I came back and I was like, yeah, couldn't find her. But it was just insane, you know, and again, like I don't know why she looked at me. Like it was weird. She came in, she looked out, and I remember seeing her, and she just went, "Boom, you motherfucker." And that happens to me so much. I don't know. I don't get it. I'll be doing something random, and I'll hold the door open for someone, and then I become their friend, and then I have to go help their mom at a retirement home, and then later help them pick up drugs. And then it's like, well, wait a minute. Wait, why am I in this situation in the first place? I don't get it. And it's weird, but it gives me stories. That's another thing, because people tell me all the time that I should be a comedian, and it's not that I want to be or I'm trying to be, but I let the stories happen, because if it ever does happen, I have all these random stories that I can just talk about. Like doing these podcasts, like I have countless stories to talk about. And that's I'm just gonna wrap it up there. Story time is just gonna be a short little podcast for today. If you guys did like this video though, feel free to comment, like it, share it, subscribe. I don't know what to do, but this is kind of like a little trial and error. Yesterday I did like a quick little test just to see if I could launch on YouTube, and it worked just beautifully. So I'm glad to be finally back and doing these podcasts. I would say I'm gonna start doing them maybe once a week, but no promises guaranteed. Like I said, I'm doing 10 things at once. So podcasts were kind of on the back burner, but I'm really shocked that my reaction videos and some of my podcast videos are kind of blowing up. So, I'm an entertainer at heart, so I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. I'll shake around if you guys need to. You guys like that? But, it's all good. I hope you guys have a good one. Keep chill. I'll see you all in the next time. Peace, homies.